Did you know there is a secret and final trial in the Egyptian underworld? A test so profound and so terrifying that it was almost completely erased from the Book of the Dead? They told you the ultimate judgment was the weighing of the heart, where your soul is measured against the feather of truth. But that is the lie. The public story, the simplified version they gave to the masses to keep them focused on their deeds and their morality. The true, final, and most intimate judgment is not a measurement. It is a confrontation. This is the forbidden story of the Mirror of Anubis, a sacred obsidian mirror that does not reflect your physical form, but the true, naked, and unedited face of your own soul. It is a mirror that shows you not what you did, but what you became. And the image it reveals is either a being of breathtaking divine beauty or a monster of your own making. They did not want you to know about this final test. They wanted you to believe that your salvation was a matter of simple bookkeeping, of good deeds outweighing the bad. They did not want you to know the terrifying truth, that your every thought, your every secret intention, your every unhealed wound is actively sculpting the very face of your eternal self. The mirror is not a metaphor. It is a law of cosmic physics, and the great and silent god Anubis does not hold it up to judge you. He holds it up so that you may finally and irrevocably judge yourself. This is not a story about the afterlife. This is the story of the art and science of soul crafting. And it is a revelation that will change not just how you see death, but how you choose to live right now in this very moment. To understand the mirror, you must first understand its keeper. Anubis, the jackal-headed god, is not just a guide. He is the master of the liminal spaces, the guardian of the thresholds between worlds. And the most important threshold is not between life and death, but between your persona and your soul. Your persona is the mask you wear, the identity you have constructed, the story you tell yourself and the world about who you are. Your soul is the raw, silent, and eternal truth that lies beneath that mask. The entire purpose of your life, from the perspective of Anubis, is to make the mask and the face one and the same. To live in a state of absolute, brutal, and beautiful authenticity. The modern world is a factory for the creation of masks. From the moment you are born, you are taught to perform. To be the good child, the successful student, the responsible adult. You are taught to suppress your shadows, to hide your wounds, to present a curated and acceptable version of yourself to the world. And you become so identified with this mask that you forget it is a mask. You mistake your performance for yourself. But the jackal god is the one who is never fooled. He is the master of seeing in the dark. He sees what lies beneath the surface. He is the divine psychologist, the ultimate reader of our souls. And his mirror is his diagnostic tool. It is not a physical object in the way we understand it. The forbidden texts describe it as a slab of polished night, a window into the true duat, a surface of solidified silence. It is a piece of sacred technology, a metaphysical instrument that does not reflect light but reflects consciousness. When your soul stands before this mirror in the final silent chamber of the underworld, the reflection you see is a perfect and absolute energetic portrait of your own inner state. It is the sum total of all your choices, all your thoughts, all your loves, all your fears, made visible. This is the secret of the two truths that are judged in the Great Hall. The first truth, the truth of your deeds, is weighed on the scale. This is a matter of karma, of cause and effect. But the second and deeper truth, the truth of your being, is reflected in the mirror. This is a matter of alchemy, of the art of what you have sculpted your own soul into. A soul can have a perfectly balanced heart, a life of impeccable deeds, and still be a monster in the mirror. How? If those good deeds were performed out of fear, out of a desire for reward, out of a sense of hollow duty, and not out of a genuine love and alignment with Ma'at, then the inner landscape of that soul is one of dissonance, of self-betrayal. And the mirror will show a beautiful mask with a terrified, twisted, and inauthentic face cowering behind it. Conversely, a soul can have a heavy heart, a life full of mistakes and failures, and yet, if that soul has been on a genuine path of self-awareness, of struggling towards the truth, of radical self-honesty, the mirror can reveal a face that is scarred, yes, but also beautiful, courageous, and authentic. The scale judges your resume. The mirror judges your soul. They did not want you to know this because it is a truth that is beyond the simple, dualistic morality of good and evil. It introduces a terrifying and liberating new variable, the variable of beauty. Not the superficial beauty of the physical form, but the profound, resonant, and mathematical beauty of a soul that is in a state of inner harmony. A soul that is true to its own nature. The ultimate goal of the mystery schools was not to teach you how to be a good person. It was to teach you how to become a beautiful soul. A living masterpiece, a work of art worthy of standing before the gods. The evidence for this secret and final trial is not carved on the great public pylons of the temples. It was a doctrine for the highest of initiates, a truth so profound that it was only ever hinted at. But the clues are there. Modern archaeology has found, in certain very high status and royal tombs, beautifully crafted and highly polished obsidian mirrors. They are often found near the sarcophagus, and their purpose is a mystery. They are too dark to have been used for grooming. They are often inscribed with subtle, protective spells. Egyptologists label them as ritual objects, a convenient term for anything they do not understand. But what if they are not just ritual objects? What if they are physical anchors, earthly representations of the true, metaphysical mirror that the soul would have to face in the duat? What if they were placed in the tomb as a tool for the soul, a final piece of training equipment for the great confrontation? And what of the censored documents? The Gnostic texts, which are a direct inheritor of the deepest Egyptian wisdom, are obsessed with this very idea. They speak of the soul after death having to face a series of powerful and terrifying beings called archons. And these archons do not judge your sins. They test your knowledge. They test your self-awareness. And they are said to hold up a mirror that shows the soul its own spiritual form. If the soul recognizes itself, if it is not horrified by what it sees, if it can look upon its own true nature without flinching, it is allowed to pass. But if the soul recoils in horror, if it denies the image, if it mistakes its own true face for a monster, it is cast back down into the cycles of reincarnation. This is a direct and perfect echo of the forbidden doctrine of the Mirror of Anubis. And there is a strange and recurring image, found only in the most obscure and secret of the magical papyri, the ones that contain the true initiatory formulas of the priests. An image that is almost never shown to the public. It depicts the soul of the deceased, standing not before Osiris on his throne, but standing alone in a dark chamber before a great black oval shape. And from this black oval, a second, identical image of the soul is emerging. But this second image is either radiant with light, or it is a twisted, demonic, and monstrous caricature. and the soul is shown reacting, either in joy and recognition or in absolute abject terror. This is not a judgment by a god. This is the moment of pure, unmediated, and terrifying self-revelation. It is a depiction of the secret of the mirror, and this leads to the great and most personal of all hypotheses. What if this is not just a story about the afterlife? What if the mirror of Anubis is not something you will face one day in the future? What if you are looking into it right now? What if the reality you are experiencing, the world that is being reflected back to you every single day, is the mirror? What if the people in your life, the situations you find yourself in, the emotions that are triggered in you, are not random events, but are a perfect and living reflection of the current state of your own soul? This would mean that your life is not a journey towards a final judgment. Your life is the final judgment. The universe is a great, dark, and perfectly polished mirror, and it is constantly showing you your own true face. The question is, do you have the courage to look at it? The mirror of Anubis is a technology of consciousness. It operates on the inescapable law of resonance. The universe does not show you what you want to see. It shows you what you are. The face you see in the mirror is the face you have been sculpting with every single choice, with every single thought, with every single breath of your life. Every time you act from a place of love, of courage, of integrity, you are adding a brushstroke of light, of harmony, of divine beauty to your own soul's portrait. Every time you act from a place of fear, of jealousy, of deceit, you are adding a brushstroke of darkness, of dissonance, of monstrous distortion. You are the artist, you are the clay, and your life is the studio. The 42 judges, the assessors of the dead, are the guardians of the mirror. They are the principles of truth that you are measured against. But their test is a prelude. It is the clearing of the superficial noise of your actions. The mirror goes deeper. It reveals the why behind your actions. It reveals the secret architecture of your own heart. Two souls can perform the exact same action, but the reflection in the mirror will be completely different based on the intention behind the act. A gift given from a place of pure, unconditional love will create a reflection of radiant beauty. The exact same gift, given from a desire to manipulate or to create a sense of obligation, will create a reflection of a subtle and hideous monstrosity. The mirror sees the hidden frequency. It sees the truth that you have hidden even from yourself. This is why the path of the initiate is a path of relentless and often brutal self-inquiry. It is the practice of constantly looking into the mirror of your own daily life and asking the terrifying question, why am I seeing this? What part of me is creating this reflection? The toxic relationship that keeps repeating in your life. It is a mirror showing you an unhealed wound of unworthiness within yourself, the chronic financial struggle that never seems to end. It is a mirror showing you a deep-seated ancestral belief in lack and scarcity, the constant low-grade anxiety that hums beneath the surface of your days. It is a mirror reflecting a part of your soul that is terrified of its own power, of its own truth. To blame the reflection is the path of the victim. To take responsibility for the reflection is the path of the magician. It is the path of the one who is ready to stop being a passive observer of their own life and to become a conscious and active artist of their own soul. They did not want you to know this. The systems of control, the exoteric religions, thrive on the lie of an external judge. They need you to believe that your salvation is in the hands of another. A priest who can forgive your sins, a God who can be appeased with prayer and with sacrifice. This system creates a dynamic of dependency. It keeps you in a state of perpetual spiritual childhood, forever looking outside of yourself for approval, for forgiveness, for a verdict on your own worth. The doctrine of the mirror shatters this entire illusion. It is a doctrine of absolute and terrifying sovereignty. It declares that there is no external judge. There is only the perfect and impersonal mirror of the cosmos. And there is no one to forgive your sins, because a sin is not a moral failing. It is an act of spiritual ugliness. It is a choice to add a monstrous feature to your own eternal face. And the only one who can correct it, the only one who can begin the sacred and difficult work of resculpting that face into a thing of beauty, is you. The suppression of this doctrine was the suppression of the path of the spiritual artist. They took away your chisel and your clay, and they gave you a prayer book. They took away the mirror of self-reflection, and they gave you a list of external rules. They did this because a population that is engaged in the deep, introspective, and challenging work of beautifying its own soul is a population that is becoming powerful, authentic, and free. It is a population that no longer needs to be told what is right and what is wrong, because it can feel the beauty of harmony and the ugliness of dissonance in its own being. It is a population that is navigating by its own inner aesthetic, by the compass of its own heart's desire for beauty. And a people who are guided by their own inner beauty are a people who cannot be led by an external and often ugly authority. The path of the mirror is the path of becoming a warrior of beauty in your own life. It is the conscious choice to dedicate your existence not just to being good, but to becoming beautiful in the deepest, most spiritual sense of that word. It begins with the courage to look. You must be willing to look at the reflections that your life is showing you, without flinching, without blaming, without telling yourself a story. You must look at your suffering, at your struggles, at your patterns, and you must find the courage to say, "This is a reflection of me. A part of me is creating this, and I am the only one who can change it." Next, you must become a master of your own inner studio. You must learn to identify the tools with which you are sculpting your soul. Your thoughts are your chisels. Are they sharp, precise, and creating clean lines? Or are they dull, clumsy, and creating a mess? Your emotions are your paints. Are you painting with the vibrant, luminous colors of love, of joy, of compassion? Or are you painting with the muddy, dark, and heavy colors of fear, of anger, of grief? Your beliefs are the very armature, the underlying structure upon which you are building the sculpture. Are they strong, supportive, and aligned with the truth of your own divinity? Or are they weak, twisted, and based on the lies of your own conditioning? And you must have the patience and the discipline of a master artist. The creation of a beautiful soul is not the work of a single day. It is the work of a lifetime. It is the slow, deliberate, and often frustrating process of adding a touch of clay here, smoothing an edge there, of stepping back, of looking in the mirror, and of making the next small and courageous choice in the direction of more beauty, more harmony, more truth. This is not a path of grand dramatic gestures. It is a path of a million tiny and conscious choices. It is the art of the sacred mundane. And finally, you must learn to fall in love with your own creation, even in its imperfection. You must learn to look at your own scarred and struggling face in the mirror with the same unconditional love and compassion that the great god Anubis holds for every soul that enters his hall. He does not judge you, he does not condemn you. He simply holds the mirror with a silent and profound love and allows you to see yourself. And in that loving gaze, you are given the strength to see the truth and the inspiration to continue the great and holy work of your own becoming. This is the secret. You are not just the sculpture, you are the sculptor. And you are also the loving witness who is watching the beautiful and terrifying process of your own self-creation. So, is the story of the Mirror of Anubis a forgotten myth, a powerful psychological metaphor for the process of self-reflection and radical honesty? Or is it a literal description of a real metaphysical technology, a cosmic mirror that is waiting for every soul at the end of its journey? Or is the most powerful and most immediate truth that it is both, and that the universe itself is that mirror? And your final judgment is not a future event, but is happening in the eternal, creative, and challenging now of your own life. Let us know what you believe in the comments below.